Have you ever wondered why Islam feels so different when you study it for yourself, rather than hearing about it from others? Why is it that so many people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, describe a sense of peace, clarity, and truth when they truly dive into Islamic teachings on their own? This video will take you on a journey of discovery, doubt, and awakening. Because once you open the door and step in with sincerity, you begin to realize that what you thought you knew about Islam barely scratched the surface. The second-hand lens. Most people first encounter Islam through a second-hand lens. Maybe it's through the news, social media, cultural assumptions, or even biased school textbooks. Sometimes it's through family members, friends, or society at large, people who themselves may not have studied Islam deeply, yet speak with authority about it. So, naturally, the image that forms in our minds is filtered. It's shaped by other people's fears, misunderstandings, and sometimes, deliberate misinformation. This version of Islam often appears strict, outdated, oppressive, or even threatening. But what if that's not Islam at all? What if that's just the shadow, not the light? You see, second-hand knowledge rarely carries the soul of a thing. It gives you fragments, not the full picture. It shows you rituals, but not the reasons. Rules, but not the wisdom behind them. That's why, when you finally decide to study Islam for yourself, something incredible happens. The personal journey begins. It often starts with a question. Why are Muslims so devoted? Why do they fast? What does the Qur'an really say? That one question leads you to search. And for the first time, you read the Qur'an, not through someone else's interpretation, but with your own eyes, your own heart. You begin to notice something strange. The words speak differently. They aren't just poetic, they're personal. They don't just inform you, they transform you. You realize the Qur'an doesn't preach blindly, it invites reflection. It doesn't force, it asks you to think. Do they not reflect upon the Qur'an? Qur'an 4 hours 82 minutes. That line isn't just for Muslims, it's for everyone. Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life. As you go deeper, you discover that Islam is not limited to prayer or rituals. It's a complete way of life, a system built on balance. It talks about personal discipline, but also compassion. It emphasizes spiritual growth, but also social responsibility. It promotes modesty, but celebrates beauty. It doesn't ask you to escape the world, but to engage with it, with ethics, justice, and purpose. You find out Islam has answers to the big questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And those answers aren't vague or abstract. They are clear, logical, and incredibly empowering. You start to feel it. Islam isn't just about submitting to God. It's about aligning with the truth. The emotional shift. And then comes the emotional shift. The more you study Islam, the more it begins to soften your heart. The more it calms your mind. It's like breathing fresh air after being in a room full of smoke. You feel seen. You feel guided. You begin to realize that Islam doesn't demand perfection. It values effort. That it doesn't erase your identity, it enhances your character. It doesn't want to imprison you, it wants to free you. Free you from ego. Free you from fear. Free you from being a slave to trends, people, and opinions. You start to understand why so many people who convert to Islam describe the feeling as coming home. Misconceptions begin to shatter. Every page you turn, every hadith you read, every moment you spend learning, another misconception falls away. You realize Islam honors women, protects their rights, and values their role in society. You learn that jihad is not holy war, it means struggle, often the struggle against your own desires. You learn that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not a warlord, but a man of mercy, compassion, and unmatched character. And you begin to realize something shocking. The Islam you were warned about is not the Islam that exists in the Qur'an. It's not the Islam of the Prophet. It's not the Islam lived by millions of sincere, peaceful Muslims around the world. The difference is night and day. A connection beyond words. Eventually, studying Islam becomes more than a study. It becomes a connection. When you raise your hands to pray, when you read the Qur'an with your heart open, it's not just learning, it's a dialogue. You feel like God is speaking to you. Personally. Directly. Lovingly. The verses start matching your struggles. The prayers reflect your emotions. The guidance feels tailor-made for your life. That's the beauty of Islam. It meets you where you are. And it walks with you, step by step, toward who you were always meant to be. Final message. So why does Islam feel different when you study it for yourself? Because truth, when it reaches the heart directly, doesn't need permission to change you. Because Islam, when experienced through your own journey, feels like more than a religion. It feels like the answer you've been looking for. The clarity you've been craving. The peace you didn't know existed. Don't let others define Islam for you. Read. Explore. Ask. Reflect. And maybe, just maybe, you'll discover a version of Islam that's deeper, more beautiful, and more powerful than you ever imagined. This isn't about converting. It's about understanding. Because once you truly understand Islam, you realize it never needed to be defended. It only needed to be experienced.